Yo, the pages turn black book, burning in the zone. Freezy with the mic, giant sitting on the throne. Big blue bruisers, Sundays clashing titans. Highlight reels, bodies dropping, no reciting. On Black Freezy TV, the streets keep it live. Chop beats hitting harder than a goal line drive. Huddle up, play by play with a raw precision. This ain't for the timid, it's the bold division, the black book.
What's going on, Black TV Freezy family and my Shakedown family? This is your boy Black Freezy on one of the most dangerous shows on this YouTube. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's the Black Book, baby. Yeah. We back at it. And today we're talking about John Harbaugh at the press conference of the owners meeting. That just sounds cringy, just saying it. Owners meeting. Oof. Without any further ado, let's get into it. All right. So the first order of business for me is, the hot topic, the rumor, the reunion with Odell Beckham Jr. and the New York Football Giants. And John Harbaugh, had some things to say about it. And let's listen to what the coach has to say.
Well, I mean, the obvious pat answer would be you look at every option, right? And if Odell's an option, then we'll be looking at it for sure. And he and I do talk and we do text, and we've maintained a really great relationship. He's one of my very favorite people in the world. So it's not like you don't talk to guys about things like that. And certainly we have. We'll just have to see where it all goes. What's best for him, what's best for the Giants. That's the number one thing. It is what's best for our team. And any player, if he helps you be a better team and can make you better, then you're going to pursue that. So we'll just have to see where that goes.
All right. You heard it yourself. So he said he and I do talk. We do text. He's one of my favorite people in the world. Isn't that interesting? Very, very interesting. Says a lot for us. So if the need fits, we know Odell Beckham wants to be here, so there's no need for us to even go round and round about that. Make sure you go check out that vintage Odell Beckham episode we put on over there at the Shakedown, and of course it's here at Black Freezy TV as well. But yeah, man, the reunion, I think it's happening. Harbaugh is confirming it, man. They talk family, potential return to New York is, I believe, in the works. You know what I'm saying? March the 24th, it leaked that, it was suggested that John Harbaugh and Odell are in active communication, and he confirmed it. So there we have it. So that first piece of business, I love to hear. Odell Beckham Jr. back to the New York Football Giants. All right. Let's get into another piece of information that John brought to us, and he pretty much broke down his relationship when asked a question about Isaiah Likely. Let's listen to the coach and see what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah Likely's a guy I've had him now for 4 years, and have a great relationship, have seen him in every kind of circumstance. So, it's really a valuable thing to know players. It's one of the things about your own players and why it's so important to try to keep the players that you have on your roster if you can. And we'll try to do that with the Giants as going forward. But Isaiah's a guy that, I'd coach personally. A lot of the coaches on our staff had coached personally, so we knew him. Not just him, but the other guys too. So he's going to bring a lot to the table. He's a talented football player. He's a playmaking football player. He's going to make plays for us. I think Jackson's going to really like him running the routes and being in his line of vision. He's got a big catch radius. He can make plays after he makes a catch. He can get upfield. He can make people miss. He can run people over. He's a very good perimeter blocker. You'll see that. That'll be good for our run game. So all those things he brings to the table.
Yeah. So there you have it yourself. John Harbaugh on his son, Isaiah Likely, the Yak Monster. 30 missed tackles forced, 819 yards after the catch. This young fella has made himself a super powerhouse, making himself available to the quarterback, showing him the numbers on breakout plays. We already know how Lamar Jackson does it when it comes to off scripted plays. We know Jackson has some of that ability as well. He's a massive slot target, as we already know, with a huge catch radius, and elite perimeter blocking. Elite perimeter blocking. Elite perimeter blocking. This piece of information, Coach John Harbaugh was talking about the potential of targeting and drafting Jeremiah Love. Let's hear what the coach had to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think you recognize all that, but the business is football. You know, we are a football business. That's what we do, and we're trying to make our fans happy. We want to win games. You know, we want to be successful. We want them to come out to the stadium and be happy after the game and be celebrating. And to do that, we've got to build the very best team we can. So you build the best team you can with the best players you can get. You know, and you put them out there and you let them play. So that's where it starts.
You agree with my assessment that he's a very good player?
Yes, I do. Yes, I'd probably put very, very good player. Put a couple varies in front of that, maybe a couple more. He's really good.
All right. Well, you heard it yourself right there. The potential value, you know, of that stigma of that positional value thing. You know, we went through it with Saquon. Still, you know, some people are still clamoring to their talking points on that, but it is what it is, man. Elite talent is elite talent. You heard it from the coach. You know, you build the best team you can with the best players, right? So, you know, they're pretty much stacking everything up at number 5. And I was telling the brothers, man, the draft begins at number 5 with Jeremiah Love to see what goes on there, you know, to see exactly what the New York Giants value that. And instead of saying that he was a good player, he said, no, put a couple of veries in there. He's a very, very, very good player. And surrounding Jaxson Dart with premium talent at wide receiver, left tackle, right tackle, running back, you know, in the ultimate year 2 is definitely going to, kill some of that sophomore slump. So I'm looking forward to some of that. Definitely. I know it's going to be a lot of controversy going towards the draft when it comes to Jeremiah Love. Polarizing figure already before he even laced up any cleats. You know, very good kid, very good family. Between you're gonna figure out, do you want the running back or you want the defensive player, or maybe even a wide receiver? Who knows? One of the things that John Harbaugh, he definitely talked about was fixing the trenches, and let's hear what he had to say.
I think the offensive line is like our team. It's a work in progress. You know, I mean, the whole team is a work in progress still. We don't play until September. We have a lot of work to do, but the offensive line and defensive line, I think we talked about it right from day one. I mean, that's where games are won and lost. It's where it starts. We've got to try to build the best offensive line and the best defensive line in football. That's got to be our goal. It's maybe it's a one-year proposition, maybe it's not. We're going to find out, but we're going to sure try. We're going to try to be the best in football on both sides this year. But we've got work to do in there. We still have free agency available to us. We still have the draft. And we also have really good players already. Really good players that are going to play really well, that we're going to get ready to play really well. So very optimistic about both sides of the lines.
All right, there you have it. And I was telling the brothers over there at the shakedown, hey man, this is coaches, man. Coaches talk like this. Coaches think like this. Hey, we were scouting these guys. And these were guys that we were high on our board when it comes to Ezeudu, Evan Neal. We feel like, they didn't have an opportunity to shine. And, this is their, they came in and laid out their plan and told us their dreams, which I, kind of look dreams. I need to see reality in this one. But you got to dream in order to get the reality. I get it. I'm kind of harsh on these two players. But he said, now, why not give them the opportunity? Why not us? You know what I'm saying? This is a great opportunity for these kids. And let's give them a shot to realize their dreams with us. Very interesting. As we know, low risk with Evan Neal, 0 guaranteed money, clean cap break, if you cut him yesterday. And with the Ezeudu 3rd round pick, supposedly we're trying to see some reward on that pedigree that Joe Schoen was looking forward to. I think they always played him out of position, just like Evan to a degree. Trying to fit him in at tackle when he's respectively a guard. I would love to see what Ezeudu has in the run game, because it never really focused on him that way. But good things from Coach John Harbaugh. Let's get to the next one. All right, moving on to the next situation. All right, Coach Harbaugh also talked about how imperative it is to stop the run. Our run defense has been at a deficit. We were ranked 32nd last year, the most rushing yards allowed in the NFL. Ranked 32nd last year, the most rushing yards allowed per carry in the clip. It is crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's a mandate that we stop the run. This is a must fix. And let's hear John Harbaugh talk about that.
Stopping the run is not the easiest thing in the world. And, we've had great success most of the time, but we've also had moments where we didn't do very well. And we just think it's really important. And I've told a lot of our guys, I mean, it's really a big deal, and on our sideline, I mean, sometimes they'll complete a pass down the sideline. Sometimes you call it the red line over there on the edge, and they'll throw a ball up to a T. Higgins or Chase or somebody, and they'll make a play. And sometimes you just have to, they're covered. And sometimes you have to just shrug your shoulders and go, all right, that's a 25-yard gain. We'll just have to line up and play again. We can live with that. But they run the ball for 4 yards. They run the ball for 5 yards. That is the end of the world. That's a disaster. And if it breaks out past that, then we can't even breathe. I mean, that's how we feel about stopping the run. We want the run stopped. We want the run stoned. We don't want it going anywhere because we want to make them one-dimensional. And we want our pass rushers to dig in and go get the quarterback on 2nd and long and on 3rd down. That's what we want to do. So stopping the run means that we play on our terms. Running the ball means the offense plays on their terms. When we're on defense, we don't want to play on the offense's terms. We want to play on our terms. If we can't stop the run, then we can't play on our terms. And that's how important it is.
Well, you heard it yourself. I don't got to say much more about that. You're bleeding. You're bleeding. 4 yards per clip, you're bleeding in the run game. And then everything else is it's downhill from there. It's downhill from there. You can't stop anything. Special teams, everybody going off on you after that. It just seems like everything is predicated on stopping that run. You have to. You have to be able to stop that run and run the ball. So, you got to play some bully ball on top of that. You just got to be a physical team. And I just like the identity. I like everything that we're bringing thus far. First of all, you get excited every year, every off season about the potential of the team. But, when you have good leadership and good guidance, it's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? As the brothers would say, the senseis in the building, the teachers, the coaching. So I can't wait for the off season. Of course, we're still kind of into the free agency period. It's over really. But getting into the draft, no, man, just can't wait. But let's move on to the last piece here. All right. Well, Coach Harbaugh also talked about, traveling down to Virginia, West Virginia, and being in the hills for a little bit as there's construction going on at MetLife for the World Cup. 10 to 12 days in isolation in the hills of West Virginia. This is going to force these young men to really, bond and forge that teammate that, whether it's, relationships, talking about family, fighting, all of the rest of it, that's how you, amalgamate a team. Football dinners, off days with no distractions. That's what family can be. Although, we all need family. It can be a distraction. I need this, I need that. And he also talked about 1 or 2 joint practices and possibly scheduling that and new physical activities with the new roster. So let's listen to what the coach had to say on that.
As far as Greenbrier, we're looking forward to it. It was pretty determined. It was a determined thing when I was in the process of interviewing that was a real possibility and almost really going to happen. That's kind of what I understood. And they just asked me what I thought of it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I was excited about it. But they got the different things going on in the area there around MetLife Stadium with the World Cup. We've got a facility rebuild they're doing, and it just made a lot of sense. So. But also I'm thinking, wow, this is an opportunity for a young team with a new staff to spend, 10, 12 days together in West Virginia, in the hills, and just be about football for 10, 12 days together and eat dinner together and have an off day together and all the things that you kind of do to just bond and get to know each other. So if it could help our team become a little, closer, I think that's a good thing too.
All right. There you heard it yourself. I think it's going to be a good thing going in isolation and, locking in on football, and we're trying to, forge an identity here as a physical football team, and you're gonna need to focus in on that. So I appreciate that. I know the coverage will be minimum because depending on who's traveling to West Virginia, from the Jersey and New York metro area. But all right. So let's get some closings on this. All right. So closing statements on the presser. What I'm taking away from this Black Friday himself. No excuses, man. Playoff expectations or mandate. Day one. This is the pedigree. This is the stamp. There's no way around it. We've been losing for way too long. It is time for us to embark on some winning football, and that starts with the basics and everybody attacking the fundamentals and stuff like that and running those hard practices. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it is what it is on that because, you practice how you play. That's just what it is. Number 2 on the board, the custom fit for Jaxson Dart, a dynamic ecosystem trying to build, all of these weapons around them. From Isaiah Likely to Darnell Mooney, to Austin, to possibly talking about drafting Jeremiah Love at the top of the board. Just pretty much amalgamizing weapons around this young man to make sure that, he doesn't have a sophomore slump, man, and we have a winning season. Number 3, the trenches fit, a relentless ongoing pursuit on the NFL's premier offensive and defensive lines. We're looking for this veteran. He's out there. We're probably already in talks with him and his agent. They're just waiting on that number to go down. As he kind of alluded to, you don't want to overpay. You don't want to overspend in that period of time, but you do want certain people to be where they need to be, which is with us, on this roster. And that's Kevin Zeitler. More than likely, I think, GVR is just going to wind up coming down at the number or whatever the number is. And it's always about guaranteed money. On the defensive side of that, DJ Reader, I want Calais Campbell, however you pronounce that young fella's name. We got to have it. You got to have it. I don't care what his age is. I want the production. I want the veteran leadership. Got to have it. And the last and final is the 4th. Calculated risk. You can't, be scary in the draft process. You got to take calculated risk. And just like, you heard Coach say in the presser, we'll probably go over it in detail in a long form version of this with the shakedown, is that you can't, trade out of, where your guy is. If your guy is there, you can't trade back too far to where you trade out of the position to where you were supposed to draft your guy. So taking calculated risks, and I think Joe Schoen is pretty good at that. I think he's pretty good at moving up and down the board. And hopefully, just like the brothers, on the shakedown, all say, especially Shakes Montana, is that, with the John Harbaugh relationships, that he'll be able to bind those with Joe Schoen's and get a lot more people on the phone to move up and down. All right, well, that'll do it, man. John Harbaugh presser. Got a lot of good information out of that presser. Got a lot of good stuff. I took home. Also got a little bit of the Joe Schoen presser, but we'll save that for another day. Well, this is your boy, your humble brother, Black Freezy from Black Freezy TV, 1/6 of the Mighty Shakedown crew. Well, this is your boy, Black Freezy, 1/6 of the Mighty Shakedown crew. Make sure you enjoy your day, man. Like and subscribe and join the tribe, man. Make sure you stay tuned in and locked in for everything Shakedown. We will be covering these New York Football Giants all off and on season. And like that, I'm your boy Black Freezy, and I'm out. And like I always say, man, let's go Giants.
Black book, Freezy with the hook. Giants in the trenches, leave the league shook. The black book, numbers in the stats.